Hello, everyone, and welcome to You Are the Medicine, a podcast dedicated to empowering you from within. I'm your host, Dr. Jessica Chichester. I'm the co owner and co founder of Haute Healing Oasis, the whole body wellness center located in Stamford, Connecticut. And today's episode is something very special that can carry a lot of mixed feelings and a lot of weight. The topic is pleasure as medicine. Today, we're going to delve into how the experience of pleasure can be transformative and profoundly healing. Whether you're a woman or anyone interested in enhancing your well being through pleasure, this discussion will open you to new perspectives and invite you to rethink old paradigms. So, let's talk about understanding pleasure. And when I mention pleasure as medicine, I ask you to reflect on what thoughts and feelings arise. Do you think it's indulgent, worry about being judged, or feel you can only prioritize your pleasure after everyone else's needs are met? Well, you're not alone. These are common societal beliefs, but today we'll challenge them and explore why embracing pleasure is crucial for our health. So there are definitely some personal experiences and societal messages that we have about pleasure. And a lot of these perceptions often hinder our ability to fully embrace and benefit from pleasurable experiences. So even as a child, our messaging starts that we have different reward systems, rewards if we're a good girl, or punishments if we're a bad girl or a bad boy, right? And a lot of times we associate what we've done and the outcome with how we can experience pleasure instead of authentically experiencing it in every moment within our body. I remember when I was a kid and even as a young adult, I struggled with food related issues like eating disorders, especially when I was a child. And I remember though in college that there were times that oh my gosh, I overate. And my way of punishing myself was by not going out with my friends, punishing myself for that behavior. And in the end, did it ever stop that behavior? Not at all. So then I beg to, question, does punishment really stop us from wanting to pursue pleasure? It's a big question. And it doesn't. When we are punished from an experience or from a pleasurable experience, we sometimes can be attached to that punishment. We can be attached to the firing that goes off in our mind. And it can become very comfortable to stay in a state of punishment or self-sabotage. And so often this is manifested when we find love, when two people are together and they're having this dance to decide if they're in love or not, or compatible or not. A lot of times our own insecurities can get in the way. And often we're afraid of showing somebody who we really are or having a full pleasurable experience for fear of being rejected. So, with that, we often reject ourselves, reject the other person, and sabotage all our efforts. This could happen even in terms of a job. You're close to a job or close to a promotion, and all of a sudden you are anticipating it. You're looking forward to it. You're looking forward to it. You can fantasize about it. And all of a sudden, one thought, it just starts with a thought, and we can sabotage it. Why? Well, a lot of times we really need to heal this pleasure paradigm in our body because so often than not, we're taught not to have pleasure or that pleasure is bad or it's sinful, just like money, right? A lot of times growing up in a spiritual family, you can have this paradigm where, money is the root of all evil and it's going to disconnect you from God. And so is pleasure. Pleasure is sin. And we saw that even with Genesis, right? The first book in the Bible, where Eve was and Adam were desiring to eat from the tree of the knowledge of life. And they were desiring it and got tempted and gave in. And so, with that, right, became the fall of mankind. So often than not, we're brought up with all of these stories from Disney movies to biblical, etc. And sometimes we take those stories out of context and realize that if we hone into our pleasure, it's going to create a sinful experience. And I'm here to tell you today that it's not, that there's some ways of being in sync with your divine creator, with God, with source energy, so that you can experience this pleasure, or in some cultures, they call it this Kundalini awakening, right? You can experience this outpouring of love constantly while still being in alignment and full of love and light. But before we really get into that, I want to talk about the science of pleasure. And pleasure, right? Just looking at it from a non-emotional standpoint, does more than just feel good. It has substantial health benefits. It supports our nervous system, enhances our sleep quality, and acts like an anti-stress, antidepressant agent, boosts our immune system, regulates our menstrual cycles, our hormones, reduces pain, and improves cardiovascular health. So we know physiologically and biologically that pleasure is so crucial for our well-being. And when we look at everything that was created in society, right, from cars to gardening tools to our stove, right? These were all created for our benefit, but also for added pleasure. And any new innovative device that solves any problem is not only solving a problem, but it's helping our lives to release more pleasure. I remember growing up and we had, roll down windows in the car. And now, right, technology has helped us to just press a button and the window goes up. So even that little bit changes our whole trajectory on just going in our car with more of a positive outlook and a pleasurable experience. So I urge you to think about how even technology has streamlined our feelings of pleasure. And the moments that we don't experience pleasure from it, like if we're scrolling too much on social media, it's because we're not setting the proper and the healthy boundaries for ourselves. But innately, pleasure activates our vagal nerve and our biological pleasure. See, our vagus nerve is from our brain all the way down our spine, and it resets our parasympathetic nervous system. So essentially giving our well-being a much needed sigh of relief. And even when we take a sigh, or hum or yawn or sing, we're actually stimulating this vagus nerve. So even that little bit of breathing deeply, making a sound, singing is activating that parasympathetic nervous system so you can feel good. So there are pleasure chemicals that our body is just aching to release, okay? Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. Often I say this is called dose. And this dose of all these happy chemicals is crucial for our joy, our creativity, our relationships, enhanced connection. So when these chemicals are released, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, a natural trigger happens in our body and it stimulates their production. So we can biohack these pleasure chemicals with different wellness technologies at Haute Healing Oasis. And we can harness these chemicals into a positive state. These pleasure chemicals enhance our ability to experience benefit from pleasure. So the Sonics whole body vibration therapy, which is a vibration therapy that uses sound waves to vibrate you. So imagine it's like standing on a speaker, and all these healthy chemicals just get released and triggered, and all these neural chemicals get released in your body while you're breathing in 95% oxygen. And every day we're just breathing 21% oxygen. So when we breathe 95, it's going to every cell in our body. It's literally talking to every part in our body. And if our body is getting more oxygen and it's getting more cellular energy from the sonics, then oh boy, we are going to feel good. We're going to have better circulation, and it's going to release these pleasure chemicals on such a higher scale than just exercising or breath work alone. Biocharger is another device, and this one uses subtle energy, frequencies, and voltage to rejuvenate the body, helping aligning with your natural energy and a state conducive to relaxation and pleasure. With the biocharger, there's different recipes on that technology that you can press, like abundance or happy, love, that are going to give the signal to your cells to start activating itself to that state. Oh my gosh, you have to try it. About 6 to 10 people can also sit around it. So come in with your friends. We do a lot of different workshops and networking sessions around the biocharger. So it's awesome. I love it. And the infrared sauna. So the infrared sauna is an all-time favorite, right? It's so different than a traditional sauna. It's 7 times more detoxifying. So simply put, you'd have to sit in a traditional sauna for over 4 hours to do what an infrared does in 30 minutes. 30 minutes in the infrared sauna is equal to a 4 mile run. You're burning up to 600 calories. And this infrared heat is not as hot as a traditional sauna, but it helps to reduce inflammation in the body. That heat wave goes about 2 to 3 inches deep. It's going to soothe pain. It's going to release toxins, and it's going to promote relaxation. It's also going to release a surge of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. So you feel like you just went on vacation, all by just sitting in the sauna for 30 minutes, right? We give you an hour. So it's incredible. Through the infrared sauna is where my husband Peter and I, our relationship really deepened, because something about that heat wave and that chemical cocktail that gets released, it really bonded us to each other. And in the beginning of our marriage, when we first got an infrared sauna, it really gave us a space and the chemical composition in our body to really connect on such a deeper level, and to have some of these maybe more challenging or difficult conversations. And with that came the birth of Haute Healing Oasis, just through our experience and through our connection together in the infrared sauna. And with that, Peter and I also developed a technology called Norse therapy, which is 4 treatments in one. And it's negative ions, oxygen, red light, and salt, creating an environment that supports deep relaxation, energy production, and total overall well being. So, negative ions with the Norse therapy, negative ions are what get released when you're in front of a waterfall. I don't know if you've ever been in front of a waterfall and you feel like, oh my God, just like intoxicated, almost like you want to jump off. That's from negative ions. Negative ions release tons of serotonin, that happy chemical in our body. And when you look at what red light therapy does, right, there's new studies coming out daily on the benefits of red light therapy. It helps with skin, cellular energy, but also depression. So now you're looking, and also helps support healing in the body. So now your body is in a state of healing. Your mood is boosted from the red light and the negative ions. Oxygen is just opening everything up to just move even more. And the salt therapy is helping you breathe deeper. So the salt therapy that's in the Norse is all the benefits of a 60-minute salt cave in 20 minutes. But now in the Norse, it's a private therapy for you on your own, or you and a partner or a friend. And you get to disrobe and really get all the benefits permeating through your largest organ, which is your skin. And I've had so many meetings in our Norse therapy. And I'm telling you, I've created good friends in there because that whole chemical release, the conversation is really authentic. I mean, all of our masks come down. So it just deepens your sense with yourself and other, your connection with others. So these technologies, some of these technologies that we have at Haute Healing Oasis, actually all of the technologies mimic our body's natural process to boost health and pleasure. And so we need to really integrate pleasure into our everyday life. And it comes with saying yes, going back to a podcast I did a couple of weeks ago, right? Saying yes. Yes to something new. Yes to more time with you. Yes to your own healing. It's going to give you the energy, the clarity, the ignition to be the most powerful, authentic version of yourself. So you can go back to your business, your family, your friends, whatever, whoever, and be the best that you can be. So at Haute Healing Oasis, we also have a room called the Center for Consciousness where we host different events and workshops. And some of these workshops are actually all of these workshops are really about your healing, but with that healing comes pleasure. And pleasure should be a regular part of our lives. It's not just about an occasional indulgence, but about integrating meaningful, pleasurable practices daily. And so some of the ways that we do that at the Center for Consciousness is through the Tantra classes that I teach, or sometimes teach with my husband, Dr. Peter Chichester. And with Tantra, a lot of people think about just sex, but it's not. It's about coming together and really having authentic connections and seeing somebody for who they are in this moment and honoring them with like a lot of joy and learning how to ignite that and ignite those pleasurable responses in your body for increased joy and stability. Because that's what life is about. When we feel joy, when we feel pleasure, oh my gosh, we're more stable. We're not indecisive. Our thoughts and our actions are clear. Even if we have to tell somebody um, a truth that they might not like, we're operating from a state of love and compassion, from a heart space, instead of from erratic energy. And when we feel more pleasure every day, we can sleep better. And when we sleep better, we function better. That's for next time, a whole discussion about sleep. But some of the events that we have at the Center for Consciousness also include cacao ceremonies. And cacao ceremonies it's where it's an ancient practice of getting the raw cocoa or chocolate bean, crushing it in a sustainable way, and then making this into a powder and drinking it. And people, especially women, love chocolate because it releases, what is it called? Like theobromine, but it releases that and magnesium and oxytocin, which is our master hormone, which is a love hormone. And it releases that in our body and it makes us feel calm and loving and good. So oh my gosh, that's a beautiful ceremony for you to come to. I love doing cacao ceremonies, and even to drink cacao several times a week, if not daily, is important. And even having some chocolate every day, some pure 100% or close to 100% dark chocolate, my take, soy free, right? Clean from any fillers or any sugars, and just having it and being with that pleasure chemical, because it can help ignite, oh my gosh, you to just operate through your day in such a better way. In the Center for Consciousness, we also have sound healing sessions, like I said, Tantra workshops, Tai Chi, Qigong. I teach Kundalini yoga. Oh my gosh, I've been doing it for over 20 years, and Kundalini is so powerful. And it's all about opening up this sacral center in your body, right? The lower back, and awakening all of your chakras, awakening your breathing to where you're literally operating from a state of clarity, decisiveness, pure alignment, and bliss. I have solved the world's problems through Kundalini yoga. I love the mantra music. It keeps me centered and connected to God, myself. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So, all of these gatherings that we have in the Center for Consciousness, also known as a CFC, are designed to deepen our connections with our bodies, with each other, and enhance our emotional landscape. Before we wrap up, I really want to talk about the lie that we've been involved in as women and as people around pleasure. And as women, we have been castrated and put down, objectified, killed, burned at the stake in society for activating our pleasure. Because when our pleasure is activated, our own innate magic activates. When we are in a pleasurable state, we find creative outlooks and solutions. It's a necessary component to leading a healthy life. And so at this point in our lives, I encourage you to not as a female and just as a person to reach outside the societal norms and expectations about who you're supposed to be, what kind of life you're supposed to live. It's often said like, oh my gosh, I remember as I was growing up that it was like, okay, well, at 20 something, boom, you're going to finish college and then you're going to get married and have a white picket fence with a dog. And this is going to be your life. And you're going to have a great job and you're going to know your days off and everything's going to be set. And this is a great life. And it's not the life for some people. And it wasn't the life for me. It's not the life for a lot of people. So I think when we really experience pleasure, it's not about safety in the system. It's about connecting with ourselves and why you're here on this planet, why you're here in this cosmos, on this earth. Excuse me, it's not a planet. Why you're here on this earth. And when we can connect with ourselves and our highest self and just be in this deep state of gratitude for even having a warm cup of coffee or our favorite lip gloss or the necklace that we wanted to wear, whatever it is, and literally going all out with thanking our life and God for all of these things, we get into a state of positivity and we can activate more pleasure in our life. So remember that pleasure is not a luxury. It's a necessary component of a healthy, happy life. The more pleasure you can feel, the more you can give it out to others. Then you don't need to worry about your children and what's happening in their life. You're living from a state of authenticity, and of love and of wholeness. And that's what they're going to be witnessing from you. And that's the material they're going to be extracting from your life and bringing into theirs. Pleasure is more than feeling good. It's about activating our body's natural healing processes and engaging fully with life. So thank you for joining me on this enlightening journey today. Remember, you are your own best medicine. You are the answer that you've been looking for your entire life. And all of that beautiful, delicious, pleasurable, powerful, energetic activity is already deep inside of you. And by embracing pleasure, you unlock a powerful tool for your own healing and happiness. And again, for those around you. Visit us at Haute Healing Oasis and join our events at the Center for Consciousness and to explore these themes further. Until next time, keep nurturing your inner joy and let it transform your health and your life. Remember, you are the medicine, and all the pleasure you ever need is right inside of you and around you. Just keep saying yes. Until next time, my friends, Satnam.